Welcome to another edition of Talking Politics with Dr. Oladipo. I'm your regular host and managing editor of the Eagle Online, which publishes at www.theeagleonline.com.ng. Dr. Oladipo. Don't forget that we run this program in partnership with Newspop NG, one of the fastest growing YouTube channels around the world. Today we'll be looking at the situation on the political scene in Ogun State, taking a cue from the presidential election of February 25, 2023, and how it will impact, perhaps, if it will have any impact, on the upcoming governorship election. With me to look into this subject is a guru in the journalism field. He has taught journalism and he has practiced it. And I'm talking about the general manager of Sweet FM in Abiodun, the Ogun State capital. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Eddie Aino to the program. You are welcome, sir.
Thanks, Doctor, for having me. And hello out there.
Yes, sir. Maybe looking at what is happening in Ogun State now, it doesn't seem as tensed as it used to be in the past. Maybe talking about 4 years ago, 8 years ago. Has the outcome of the presidential election gotten anything to do with this? And how will you say that election turned out, in your view, sir?
That election was a watershed in the annals of this country. Although people see it from different perspectives, and that is understandable. People look at issues, from their own personal view. But for me, I think it was a watershed in the sense that there were so many surprises. But in Ogun State, let's zero it down to Ogun State. In Ogun State, I wasn't surprised with what I saw because I expected, to come that way, given the fact that the government in place and looking at the impact of the president-elect, because he's done a lot, in the state in terms of politics. I know he's been very instrumental, to bringing in the SY governor of the state, that's Amosu, and he was even instrumental, to bringing in the incumbent, that's Prince Abiodun. And looking at the big wigs in the state, you talk about Chief Shegun Oshoba, OGD, Lawal, just mention it. Yayi, it appears the president-elect had a grasp of the state, and he's done so much, for so many people. So that would account for the reason why the election turned the way it turned, during the last election that came up on the 25th of February 2003. Now, looking at the issues critically, Ogun State is stable in a way, although it appears so many people want change. There are alignment and realignment of forces based on. Some people have the opinion that the present governor, should not come back. Many have the opinion that he should come back, given the fact that so many traditional rulers are talking of Abiodun, we're talking of Ogun Waterside, we're talking of Ogun East, Ogun West, and all that. So many of them have adopted him, for the second term. Even 3 days ago, the pensioners adopted him. Yesterday, the teachers, NUT, the state, and so many other different groups, drivers, cadre riders, just mention agriculturists and all that. They endorse him. So that's the reason why I feel that the situation in the state, is calm. Yes, there is noise here and there. There are godfathers, who believe that the man should not be there because of the personal relationship, negatively or positively, that they have. So for me, Ogun State is calm, and the last presidential election has largely affected what is now happening in the state. Because if you look at the result of that election, 3 senatorial seats went to the APC, 9 House of Representatives seats went to the APC. And even amongst the contestants, amongst the big wigs, there are alignments and realignments of forces. Some people leaving the camp of Amosu, going to the camp of Abiodun, and vice versa. We're going to have a very interesting election come 11th of March 2011. Don't forget that Ogun State uh, comprises people who are very, very cerebral. They are very conservative. And since 1979, or even if you take it from 1999, they've voted the way they saw it, the way they felt, the way they saw the person in power, haven't performed or not performed. I mean, that take you to what happened during the exit of Chief Segun Oshoba. Yes, very sad. It was because Obasanjo came and said, "Oh, look, my people, you didn't vote for me during the first term, but vote for me during the second term." He spoke to Afenifere, and unfortunately, lo and behold, only one of them, that was Tinubu, that was able to withstand the storm. So all along, I mean, you can see that the people of Ogun State, they cannot be stampeded. They cannot, whatever you want to see, they will vote the way they see the person who is in power. Yes, there are so many forces, four of them. You're talking of the incumbent governor. You're talking of Ladi Adedibu. You're talking of BOT or Tegbeye. And I want to add the last one. Tony Ojeshino is of the SDP. Ojeshino too has paid his dues when you talk of politics in the state. He has been a commissioner. So when people mention three, I mention four because I know it's going to be
among the four. Okay, sir. But don't you think that, like some have argued, what took place in Ogun State during the presidential election was more like a piece of the graveyard, or more of, let us support the presidential candidate. Then when we come home for the governorship, we begin to sort ourselves out. And I say this because there are those who, for instance, emerged in the process of getting their tickets who were not supported by the governor, the incumbents. And one of them, if you recollect, is the former governor of the state, Otumba Gbenga Daniel. We all know the politics that played out where the governor brought up, and also fingers were pointed at the vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, when they brought up an aspirant to run against him, and he defeated them. So do you see all of these tendencies still able to come together despite the differences before the primaries, both in the states and at the presidential level, where the vice president and the governor were believed to be on one side against forces like the former governor who I mentioned earlier, Otumba Gbenga Daniel, and Tinubu on one side? Don't you see these things coming into play during the governorship election?
I want to believe that that situation has been doused, significantly. I quite agree with you. At a point in time, the incumbent governor didn't want OGD to contest that election. I think he wanted Mustafa, Lekon Mustafa, to contest that election.
And they eventually bagged Seyi Odunton, both himself and the vice president.
Exactly. But I want to believe that if you look at the issues critically, I'm sure they have settled. The way I've noticed, for some time now, it appears they have settled. I'm not saying, in effect, that it may not have an impact on the election, but I know, in a way, Otumba Gbenga Daniel, because I recall the intervention of the Awujale of Ijebuland, and I think their relationship thereafter had appears to have settled the situation now. Although politicians, there were instances where you see their hand, you don't know what is going on inside them. But largely, I want to believe that even if it's going to have an impact, it may not affect it may not upset the apple cart in the state. Why am I saying this? I know people in APC, most of them have come back to the camp of the governor. Going by what I've seen in the last a couple of days, I know there are people in Amusu's camp who have gone to the camp of the incumbent governor. In fact, I know Amosu is trying vehemently. In fact, if you look at listen to all the radio stations in the state now, he is saying I'm in support of Biyo Tegbeye, contrary to even what the Obas in Ilaro have said. But the extent to which that is going to affect the outcome of the election is something that we have to be careful about. Why? Because even in 2019, Amosun was vehement in ensuring that Abiodun did not win that election, although it was close. I mean, only 3%. I mean, Abiodun had 3% of the final outcome of the election, and well, I think it was 220,000 votes. But in the final analysis, he won that election, and that was when Amosun was not in power. But now that when Amosun was in power, but now that Amosun is not in power, he's struggling, to ensure that Abiodun did not win that election. Again, what might make Abiodun come out tops is this. If you look at 2019, Amosun supported Akinlade. Akinlade is now in the camp of Adedibu, Adebutu as the deputy governor of PDP. They are going to divide the votes, and that's the way we should look at it. They will divide the votes in Ogun East. Yes, Amosun has control of Ogun Central, but again, the governor has made a lot of inroads, into Ogun Central. Then when you look at the Ogun West, with the influence of Yayi, who has won the senatorial seat, with the influence of GNI, who had won the House of Reps, and going by what Yayi had done, in Ogun West, to the indigenous of that place, tech hub, markets, payment of money, giving, empowering women in particular, and the way they really came out when he was campaigning. I want to believe that the combination of all that, and the deputy governor of Ogun State too, Noimot Oyedele, I want to believe that the combination of all this will ensure that the women governor wins. And again, yes, I know Governor Abiodun didn't want OGD to contest that election. But if you look at what he did for OGD, because for 8 years, the Amosun, when Amosun was in power, he did not allow OGD to run the hotel that he has at the conference hotel. It was Abiodun that, in fact, the moment he won that election, he gave the OGD the go ahead, to go and run that. And when OGD visited the hotel, he nearly shed tears because a lot of money had to be spent on it. So yes, we can fight, but in the final analysis, the interest of the party must hold sway. Because let's come to think of it, if OGD doesn't support him, who is he going to support? Ade Butu or Tegbeye? Well, we can't trust politicians anyway, but I want to believe in the interest of the party. And again, secondly, I think the incumbent, the president-elect must have spoken to all of them, because this is the time for all of them to rally around. Because there is no point winning at the federal level and you don't have governors to support you. I want to believe he must have intervened, and in the final analysis, all these permutations we are looking at may be in favor of the incumbent governor. So that's it.
Okay, sir, but there has also been one issue that has troubled the political scene. And that is the fact that where Chief Otegbeye comes from,
okay,
has not produced the governor of that state.
yes.
And that is one of the things that the former governor, Ibikunle Amosun, hammered on in opposing the incumbent 4 years ago. Will that change anything? Especially with people talking about the fact that Senator Olamilekan Adeola was actually brought in to stabilize that area for the APC. Okay. How do you think this will play out, sir, this time around?
Yes, yes, that's one way to look at it. Yes, I know since the state was created in 1976, nobody from Ogun West has been governor of Ogun State, and many people have made efforts to ensure that at least somebody from Ogun West, becomes governor of Ogun State. Don't forget, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, as you know, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, tried so hard, for one of them, to become to become the governor of Ogun State. I recall one Mr. Ojo late now. He was sponsored, by Chief Obasanjo at that point in time. Even when Chief Obasanjo was in the saddle to contest that election, it didn't work out because of the division within the PDP at that point in time. Again, OGD sponsored GNI to contest under PPN. It didn't work because of the division within PDP. Now there is also a division, big one, in PDP. Don't forget, Segun Sowunmi is there. In fact, there was an interview they conducted for him sometimes here in Abiodun, and he said, "I'm still waiting in the wings because my case is still at the Supreme Court." So that's one side of it. Then there is Jimmy Lawal, who incidentally has moved to the camp of Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State. So it may not work because 2 times now it hasn't worked. Yes, there is a sentiment of, yes, nobody from Ogun West has been the governor of Ogun State. But the permutation or the calculation in there now is the fact that bringing in Olamilekan Yayi to Ogun State to become a senator and combining his power, his ability, to mobilize people with that of GNI, with that of Noimot, and with the support of OGD, Jimmy Lawal in Ijebu East, in Ogun East, is better for them to run. It's better for them to wait for 2027, and that's what the Obas are saying. The traditional ruler in Laro, he said this some few weeks ago that look, we want to wait till 227 in the 2027 because now we have a good chance with Yayi coming in to the fray, GNI, Tumba, Benga Daniel, Jimmy Lawal, and all the rest of them. They are more optimistic that in 2027 is going to work. But let me just say something about the fact that Amosun, Governor Amosun, the SY Governor Amosun, was passionate or has been passionate or is still passionate about it. The question people are asking, critics are asking is, when he was there, why did he contest 2 times, knowing full well that somebody from Ogun West has not been governor? So many people will tell you, yes, we want to be governor. I want Ogun West to be governor. They are not factual about it. They are not being truthful to themselves. Because if Amosun had relinquished it, to GNI at that point in time, GNI would have been governor of Ogun State. But human nature is no more there now, so he has to fight for another person to be there. So I don't believe in this. Ogun West has not been it. They are calculating 2027, and all the others have said it. I want to believe it may work that way. But I hope we will still come back, after the election on Saturday, and you will see the outcome of the election. Again, what is going to work for Abiodun is the factor of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He supported him against the president-elect. And the president-elect there, came to Abeokuta and said, Eleyi, me, I knew what I did for you. And he was referring to the primaries of 2019, 2018-2019 of APC. In fact, he did a lot, to ensure that election, that primary, with the combination of the chairman, I think it was Oshiomhole at that point in time, with the combination of Oshiomhole, that he won that primaries. Recall that in Ogun State, in fact, guns were flying that day, but they ensured that Abiodun, was given the flag of APC at that point in time. So that was why he was referring to that. Look, I supported you and all that. So why are you doing this to me? So now he has gone back to the camp of the president-elect. And I want to believe that even the vice president has congratulated him, has gone back to his camp. With the combination of vice president, unknown to many people, the vice president did a lot in 2019 to ensure that the incumbent governor of Ogun State got him. In fact, he transferred his PVC to Ikene, and he mobilized, for him. Apart from that, he ensured that malpractices did not take place, that the Amosun didn't have the opportunity of using his position as governor, to go around and all that. So I want to believe that this time around, this combination of people and the fact that PDP up till now is not even settled, because that has been the albatross of PDP since 2011. They is one problem or the other. Look, even the Kashamu group, the splinter group of Kashamu, has gone to the side of the incumbent governor. Yes, even day before yesterday. Then the splinter group, even from Amosu, have moved there. So I want to believe that the combination of all this have moved to the incumbent governor's side. So with all this, I'm not too sure that anything can stop the incumbent governor, unless God. It's only God that can stop, because God says, if I don't give, nobody can give. And if I give, nobody can prevent that person from having it. I believe in fatalism, but looking at the structure on ground and looking at what the governor had done, to so many groups, to different areas of the state, even to Ogun West. Look, all the abandoned projects that are also left, the governor finished them. You are talking of car wash, you are talking of Randa, Lafenwa to Randa, you are talking of Adigbe, you are talking of Kuto. He has completed all this. There is the cargo airport there, and there are roads and all other infrastructural development, tech hub and all that. I want to believe that Ogun State are intelligent people. They want to support somebody who is doing it. I'm not canvassing for him. No, I'm just saying what is on the ground that I've been able to see. And the people that I know in Ogun State, even the Oba, the Oba in Abeokuta, I said that much. All the Obas, including the Alake, have said that much, that we appreciate what this man has done. And it's a way to say, okay, I'm going to vote for him. So that's what I've seen on the ground that may tilt the pendulum, to the side of the incumbent governor.
Okay, sir, because the last point you thought was where I was going to go, that some have accused him of non-performance. Because that has been well spread in the media. But it appears you are convinced that he has done well.
In communication, we have this selective attention, perception, and reception. Selective perception, selective attention, and selective retention. People want to see what they want to see. Even amongst journalists. Yes, we are all political animals. I mean, Aristotle says that much. But when it comes to the brass tacks, when it comes to the real facts on the ground, maybe one of these days, somebody will be able to highlight what man has been able to do. I've been in Abeokuta. I retired in 2010, and I've been in Abeokuta since then. But even before I went to the National Broadcasting Commission in 1994, I was on OGBC. I worked for OGBC. I worked for NTA, and I know Abeokuta. I know Ogun State inside out, apart from other parts of the country. And I know that when you talk of people of this state, although there can be surprises, no doubt about it. But if you look at the people who are contesting, even, yes, in terms of performance, I don't know what people regard as performance. For me, even the area where we stay, I know of 5 good roads that the man has done in Abeokuta that have been the roads that have been very problematic, to indigenes of Ogun State. He have done it. Elite roads. There's one around when you are going to Olomoni, on your way to Ibadan, on the left hand side. That was the first place he did. And so many other roads that he had constructed in Abeokuta, apart from the ones that Amoso left. One thing I noticed about the governor is the fact that people who are packaging him have been unfair to him. No doubt about that. And I've had cause to talk to some of them. There are so many things this man has done that nobody is talking about. And the people who are packaging him because of one thing or the other, maybe because they don't agree among themselves, position sharing and all that. Maybe that's the reason why they have not really packaged him. Even the cargo airport, he promised December, the thing that be commissioned in January. Whatever, that is one project that you can say is a class, is one project, legacy project you can talk about. So many people have, different opinions. He has not performed, but I've seen what others have done. Yes, even people will say rebuild bridges. They build bridges to satisfy certain interests. Maybe they are on it. Yes. And because people have come to criticize even the bridges. Say, what? You don't need bridge along this area. Where is the water? And all that. So Nigerians, I mean, people in Ogun State, if you talk to cross-section of them, I think the man has done, yes, something substantial for him to return. Well, different folks, different strokes. But for me, I have seen what the man has done. Yes, people are saying he has underperformed. How? How has he underperformed? I mean, looking at the areas he has touched. In fact, when you talk of pension, for instance, because I know somebody who is affected about pension, the person left office in 2012. She was never paid until this man came on board. In fact, it was this year that the man that she got her pension gratuity. For years, the last governor did not pay them. Go and talk to pensioners in Ogun State. He didn't pay. If he had paid, the thing would have accumulated like this. I mean, it's there for everybody to see. I'm not criticizing for the sake of it. No. And that's as far as pension is concerned. It was when he now came in and said, okay, I'll be giving you 500 billion every 3 months. They now said, look, it's not enough. It will increase it to 600 million. Now he has reached it to 1 billion. I think if the other governors in the past had done that, I'm sure the accumulation would not be as huge as this. I mean, those are things. I'm looking at the human factor, human capital development, and so many people. In fact, each time the person I'm referring to attended the pensioners meeting, many people will have died. And so all those small things, apart from infrastructure for me, I believe in human capital development. And so many writers have even alluded to that. I mean, when you construct roads and people are who will apply those roads, people cannot eat. When you create ambience for people to work. So I agree with people because it's their own opinion. People who believe that he has not done enough. But if you look at it critically, and if he had been the type of person who dances around the projects he was constructing with cameras, following him, maybe people will have been convinced. But for me, I am, because I've seen so many of them.
Thank you so much, sir. Maybe as we wind down, a lot of people have expressed fears about violence, especially in this election, which they believe, this round of elections, which they believe are closer to the people than the presidential and the National Assembly. What's your counsel to the people of Ogun State as they go to vote on Saturday?
I agree. That when you talk of power, just like Henry Kissinger said, the former Secretary of State in America, that power is like aphrodisiac. I mean, it intoxicates, and the power of the government is so huge. I mean, they can make and unmake. People call them emperors and what have you. So I agree. Because of that power, there is a tendency for violence this time around, more than what we witnessed during the presidential election. But I want to counsel, I want to appeal to people in Ogun State, because more often than not, even the people you fight, you shed blood for, they are friends. It will interest you to know that the trial of OGD, Amosu, and the incumbent governor Abiodun, they are friends.
They are friends.
In fact, there was this issue being peddled about that. All the three of them agreed that they were going to be governor of Ogun State. They are friends. In fact, during the regime of Amosu, Abiodun participated in that regime. He bought some things. Let me not mention the money on here. He bought even issues relating equipment relating to insecurity. So they are friends. So why do you have to kill yourself because of them? They are friends and will still be friends. In fact, even the OGD and the Abiodun, I still saw them during the handover of a certificate of return. You will still see them. What he did for OGD, he will never forget. So at times when they fight just to confuse us. But at the back, I mean, they are friends. So there is no need, especially youth, to kill themselves. When I was at NTA Abeokuta, I used to cover them between 1977 and 1979. They will just abuse each other. They will tell you MPN, these are their thieves and all that. The MPN people will
fight back and call the UPN names, and you'll be shocked. I covered the wedding of some of their children, and I saw all of them present in that place. I said, what kind of human beings are these? So they are friends, and they will still continue to be friends. Atiku was was the one that presented PMB's daughter.
Yeah, Buhari,
when
yes.
when the daughter married the son of the Emir of Kano. So they are always friends. It's only people who don't reason that will go and kill themselves because of them. My appeal: let's go and vote for whoever that we prefer. Out of there are 12 of them that are contesting this election in Ogun State. But the ones I mentioned are frontliners, people who are one of them may likely emerge. But in the final analysis, somebody will emerge. And what is better? My counsel is go and vote for the person that will do the job. Yes, look at their trajectory. What have they been able to do? Contextualize it, put it within context. Have they bettered my life? Am I better off in the last 4 years? I recall, when the contest between I'm referring to America, Ronald Reagan, and the Ronald Reagan was of the Republican Party, and the Democrat candidate. He said, in fact, Democrat candidate was in power. I've just forgotten his name. He said, look, fellow Americans, in the last 4 years, is your life better? That was the question Reagan asked. And Reagan was the last person to ask that question during debate. And he lost, the man lost the election. So ask yourself, is my life better in the last 4 years? If it is, can I see what this man has done? If you don't see it and you believe in another person, please go ahead and vote. It's your right. And that is what will bring peace. Peaceful election, peaceful conduct. And I pray that we get it right.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. It's been quite enlightening, and I'm sure our viewers would also have found it that way. We've been speaking with the general manager of Sweet FM in Abiodun, Ogun State, Mr. Eddie Aina, in the past 30 minutes on what will likely happen in the governorship election in Ogun State this Saturday, March 11, 2023. It's been nice having you here, sir, and we hope when we reach out again, possibly after the election, you will be there for us again, sir.
Thanks for having me. In fact, I'll be eager to appear on this program once again.
Thank you so much.
Let's see what has come out of it.
Of the election,
and see what we said, what we discussed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amen, sir. Thank you so much. Viewers, that's a package for this edition. Don't forget that you can contribute to the discussion on the program by sending a video of no more than 2 minutes or an email of no more than 500 words to dotsunoladipo@theeagleonline.com.ng. Again, dotsunoladipo@theeagleonline.com.ng. We hope to come to your screen soon, and definitely before the election with another edition of the program. Catch you then.